Well, Adam, let's start off with congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
It's been a quick 20 years, hasn't it?
I know.
If I recall that you were just finishing graduate school when we met, and I was finishing a corporate career, and I was ready to build a wash, and you were ready to build a wash.
I know, what a change.
And 20 years
later. I was
later,
23, I had no idea what I'm doing, and
yeah.
I still don't know what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
it went by quickly.
I think it's worked out real well for you.
So,
I mean,
yeah, for you as well. So.
Not only do you have a successful wash, but you're able to get into the vendor side and create a company and exit from it. That's a great story, and here we are talking about some new ideas.
Yes, yeah, no, thanks for spending time with me.
So congratulations.
Thanks.
Let's move on to the new topic then. Hey, what was it like going from leading Washify and going back to basically sweeping floors at your own wash?
So I love doing Washify. It was really cool to innovate. We grew the company to 1,000 locations. We had a CRM tool in 2014. We had custom apps. And then I sold the company and didn't stay as long as I originally planned. Plans change. And I went back to Waves. And you know, it's really cool being a single operator because you're close with your customers.
Right.
But being a single operator means you're doing everything. You're opening up, you're staying late and closing, you're sweeping the lot, taking out trash. Yeah. So it was definitely an experience. It's also cool. I'm sure you know a lot of your customers. I know a lot of my customers. It was good to see people again who I hadn't seen. I basically opened the car wash when I was 23, worked 60-hour weeks, started Washify, spent an hour to 2 a week at the car wash, and now I'm back to the 40 hours a week, fortunately. So it was definitely an experience.
So that leads me to my next question. We were both starting out brand new in the industry 20 years ago, and we learned about car washing. Then you started Washify, and you learned a lot about software and point-of-sale systems and how to market the car wash better. With those perspectives, and now that you've been back at Washify where you started, how has that changed your views of the future and where the industry is going?
Well, this industry was so different 20 years ago. I mean, we accepted, 80% of our money was cash, and you had pay stations. You were the first one with pay stations.
Right, yeah, I started with them, yeah.
You started them in probably New England. And I think the industry's really changed where kiosks became very popular. I put kiosks in, and what the customer has wanted has shifted significantly, right? So 2006, you would have, older guy come in, bring the whole family's cars in once a week, and people would wait until their cars got really dirty. And the Unlimited program changed everything. And I think that the technology of kiosks was great for $3 car washes, which we never had, but low cost.
Yeah, it was good. It was good for high volume transactions.
High volume transactions. Now you want to upsell your customers. You want them to download a phone app. You want them to sign up on Unlimited. You want them to sign up 3 cars for an Unlimited. And that isn't handled well by a kiosk. And what's interesting is you go to these sites and you have people standing in front of kiosks. Right. And kiosks are less efficient. So I think the future technology is going to be finding a way to get the customer, to give the customers what they want in a way that's friendly and convenient to them.
Right. I remember the kiosks, when I bought them, was sold to me as a labor reduction device. It was, you can eliminate a person. I didn't look at it that way. I wanted a person out there all the time greeting customers. I actually looked at it more for cash control. Yeah. And credit card processing and transactions, but I still needed customer service. So it's funny how things are intended and then evolve into something else. And I think we're seeing that with point-of-sale systems today. I think we're here today to talk about that evolution. We'll get more into that.
Sure.
But the industry is moving on, and I think you can see that from your experiences. You would have started your wash much differently 20 years ago if you knew what you knew today.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yep.
Without a doubt, yeah.
So here's a people question for you. How did working for your former programmer shift your views on leadership and innovation?
Yeah, so I basically, just to give you a background of my career, I went back from Washify, I left Washify in 2021. I went back to my car wash, and I got a little bored. And I had this great programmer who I worked with at Washify, and while he was working at Washify, he developed our Android applications. All the money that we paid him, he invested and started another company that did sensors for farming. And I had, after I left Washify, I helped him sell the product in the United States. It was a farm sensor with remote cloud computing and IoT devices, and a really cool device. So when I worked with him at Washify, I said he was the type of guy who I had a problem with something, and before I could explain the problem, I was about a third of the way explaining the problem, he would have a solution, a great solution. So I knew I wanted to work with him in the future. And we started the software, we started the farm, he started the farm company. I worked for him helping to sell it. And then my non-compete ended, and I went to him and I said, look, I have a good idea. Why don't we be partners this time and get back into the car wash industry, but do something really different than what Washify was. Yeah. So.
Now, we've both been owners and investors in the businesses, but doesn't it feel good, though, when you can see the evolution of people, where you can see people grow in your business and become a partner in your business and become a leader in your, I mean, I go home and I feel good about when I see those examples.
Yeah,
no, I'm sure you do too.
It's great to give people an opportunity who've been with you for a long time. Like, I had people at Washify who worked for me when they were 16. I have my manager's 30-something. He's worked for me since he was 16. So right. It's great to see people
It's
develop.
rewarding.
Yep.
It's rewarding to see people get developed in the industry and in your own business.
Yep.
So let's get back to where the industry's going. Now that we have these perspectives that we have, what frustrates you the most about the industry today?
Yeah, so I think that the technology, certainly on the POS side, the technology hasn't kept pace with what the car wash consumer wants, right? The car wash consumer, so I think the innovation is going to come from payments. And you mentioned cash controls. Cash is no longer a major factor in our businesses, but you want to be able to meet the customer on how they want to pay. They want to pay on a phone. They don't want to use a kiosk. They don't want to slow down your line. Right. They want to use a phone. They want to tap. They want to have a license plate stored in some kind of system. And we're seeing...
Yeah, they want less friction.
They want a complete frictionless environment. We're seeing all these new pop-ups. We're seeing OpSpot and Welcome Mat and Everwash and Rinsed and all these really cool, innovative companies that weren't around a few years ago. And I think their struggle is they don't integrate well with legacy POS companies. And they have different integrations with every company. And some POS vendors make it really difficult to add really cool technology. Yeah. So what I want to do now is create a way of making allowing the car wash to be really innovative and not having a legacy POS as a barrier to help improve your business.
Right. I would agree. And if we were talking to a consumer or a new investor in the business, or even existing investors, I would say that cash was clunky and didn't have controls. We then automated that with tellers. That was pretty cool at the time. We then kind of transformed to a credit card transactioning process. But all of those had too many touch points. They were very transactional. It was about automating the transaction. Wouldn't you say now we just want to make that a smooth, easy to use process that's easy on the consumer, it's quick and less clunky? Is that where we're headed?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, speed has always been a major factor in profitability and throughput. So the challenge now is helping get the customer to pay how the customer wants to pay.
And have better customer experience, one that they think is productive as opposed to clunky. Is where we want to go.
Absolutely.
All right, so in your opinion, what's a common misconception that people have about innovation in our space?
Yeah, so I think people see innovation as, maybe bigger screens, more flashing lights. The innovation is on the payments and the frictionless process.
Right.
So, that's why I started.
And having a better relationship with the customer, right?
Yeah, having...
You can get a hold of them, they can get a hold of you, business becomes easy, they can change their position with you.
Yeah, so I think certainly having a better interaction than just a kiosk is the future. So, what I've been doing with Clean Trak is being able to create a central system that gives the owner flexibility. So the owner before didn't have flexibility to build their own app. They didn't have a lot of flexibility for accepting these third-party add-ons that I mentioned. And what I wanted to create now, or what I created now, is a system that allows lots of customer interaction and allows the customers to act with an app, a QR code that they scan and pay, and managing the gate process through the car wash.
Right.
So that's something. The other thing that I did when I started Clean Trak is I said, I don't want to do the same thing as Washify. Right? I did the POS system, it was great, but I wanted to do something else. Washify was POS and marketing. I wanted to build something around washing your car, and when I say washing, and also something that hasn't really changed since I've been in the business. We've been in the business for 18, 20 years. Controllers have basically not innovated. And there's such a huge space for controllers to be the center of the car wash. And controllers are washing cars, they're not cleaning cars. And we built Clean Trak around the ability to clean cars. And what I'm talking about is, for example, right? You have 80 relays, you're turning on and off VFDs that change speeds. Well, you can have a program where you speed up the wraps around the mirrors to minimize damage. You slow down the wraps of the back of the cars. You can slow down an electric conveyor around the back of the vehicles for a few seconds to get the wraps to do a better job. You can use all kinds of IoT devices that sensors, outputs, instead of through wires and lots, that you're connecting directly to a central hub. So that's generally what Clean Trak is about.
So you just packed a lot into that answer.
I did.
Let me see if I can summarize a little bit of this for you. So innovation in this industry has been about cooler devices, color, bigger screens, fancier IT devices.
Right.
You're saying, yeah, that's all cool, we're there. We need to change the relationship with our customer and how we transact with them, and really how we control the tunnel.
The tunnel, yes.
So with all those changes, you've created a new company, and we're here to announce that, called Clean Trak.
Yes.
And I think I also heard in that answer that Clean Trak is going to focus on the controller as the central hub in the tunnel, as opposed to the POS.
Yes.
And I'm an IT guy. I was a CIO in many Fortune 500 companies. And this is following the same thing I've seen in corporate America, where you automate the transactions, you build a big central system, everybody gets on it, then you realize it's big and wieldy and not flexible, and then enter third-party companies that want to do things with your customer and attach to your point-of-sale system. You mentioned a few of them. You're saying, let's make that controller the hub. Let's let everybody talk to it with APIs. Yep. Let's have it be open source. And now the POS systems still have the ability to talk to you, and they're still required because they're handling the point-of-sale information. Right. But now you have the marketing companies that come in and out. And maybe you can have more than one marketing company, not just one. Right. And maybe you can have more than one POS system, not just one. And they can all talk to that controller, and that becomes the central hub that tells the equipment what to do and manages the customer. It's a whole changing concept. It's not just a new product. Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're doing. So thanks for, that's a great summary. Yeah, if you have an old Wash Select 2 that collects money, you can have that in one of your lane, and that will control a lane. You can have a phone app in the same lane that you pull up and you scan a QR code and it opens. You could have a QR code that you scan and hit a button and that will open the lane. So we're able to, Clean Trak is able to meet the car wash owner on how you want to sell, but also we tie that in with license plate recognition, queuing. So we have the gated system where we're managing the gated system. We're managing the queuing. We'll take a picture of the car, show that in the tunnel, and then the ability to wash the car through the car wash. Yeah. So the customer gets a complete, from gates to exiting the tunnel, it's all controlled by Clean Trak. Yeah, I think this is great. This is a big message for the industry. This is a change in approach that everybody gets to participate in, but in a way it simplifies it, but gives you more. Exactly. I'm pretty excited about the idea. So I'm going to give you another chance to even sum it up more. If you had to define innovation in car wash tech in one sentence, what would it be? Are you putting me on the spot? Innovation is
being able to create a frictionless payment environment that maximizes throughput and customer satisfaction.
Good.
So
Yeah. And that's what Clean Trak is all about.
that's what Clean Trak is all about.
Right.
I mean, there are other features too that it's doing at the same time. That's, we have a very different pricing model for our customers, but also the ability for remote management, which is really cool. It's not port forwarding, it's syncing with the cloud.
Yep.
So just to give you some ideas, right? Your chemical company can see how many cars you've washed. Your distributor can go online, or customer, my employee calls me and says, hey, the wrap isn't spinning correctly. I can pull out my phone, put on a wrap retract, and then deal with the wrap the next morning when I come in. So there are all kinds of things that you can do remotely and off-site that you're not able to do on-site.
Right.
So
Sounds like a good idea. Let's kind of back up a bit. Let's get back to vision. So we now know what the product is. We know what the problems in the industry are. On the vision side, what does the ideal, like if we could talk about ideal, maybe we're not even there yet, but I know you're headed that way. What does the ideal, fully connected car wash of the future look like to you?
yeah, so the fully connected car wash would be using license plate recognition. You could have fleet accounts. You could have a really great unlimited program where you have multiple vehicles tied. Maybe you have a non-unlimited program where you have a frequency or a credit card saved, and that customer pulls in. The next customer who pulls up has a $20 bill and pays in cash to an old machine. The next customer that comes up, your greeter will come over and quickly sign them up for a membership. So it's being able to target, to segment your customers and then target that specific segment, right? This is a potential unlimited customer. This is a current unlimited customer. This is a guy or a girl who only wants to pay for a wash and come in twice a year. And let's meet those people where they want to be met, and let's process them.
That's an important concept. We're both business school grads, so we know what market segmentation is all about.
Yeah.
We see it every day in politics, with identity politics, right? But when you say market segmentation, I think you mean real-time, seamless, when they're there segmentation, as opposed to PowerPoints in the back room where we plan the segmentation and we come up with a different market program for each one of them. You're not talking about the planning process of market segmentation. I think you're talking about real-time market segmentation when they pull into your site.
Right. Right. You do it on an individual
Right.
basis. You're not looking at demographics.
Yeah, that's not
here.
done today.
That's not done today.
Right.
No.
And is that the vision of where this product will go with your company?
Yeah. So the vision of the product is being able to allow frictionless payments, but also being able to create a great controller and give, in 5 years, I think the car wash space could be very different, right? Instead of having lots of solenoid valves, so you have your frictionless payment, and then you have the actual controls and the wiring, and with IoT, you put in sensors, and you wirelessly communicate the data from sensors where the car is positioned into the controller. Your relays are all IoT based. You're not wiring 80 different relays. You have wireless relays throughout the tunnel that are turning on air valves or water valves. So you're going to be able to install a system a lot faster. It's going to be cheaper to install. So I think that's the future, as well as other really cool technologies that haven't been available. So one of the things we're looking at is LiDAR. And LiDAR is in self-driving cars, the self-driving cars that work.
Right, now explain what LiDAR is.
Sure. So LiDAR is the way of using a laser. And we're specifically looking at a laser that rotates and takes 10 million data points every second. So the laser rotates and it measures the distance for the refraction of that laser, and it creates an image, a full 3D image of the surroundings.
So far quicker than calculations and measurements approach?
It's instant, much faster.
And much more accurate than a radar sending
much more
bouncing
accurate
back?
radar, much more accurate than just like computer, camera vision,
Right.
using lenses. So it creates, you get a whole bunch of different points. You get the distance, you get the direction of if something's moving. You get, you could actually see the refraction. You can see how potentially how clean a car is from this.
So just much more accurate, more modern. If Elon Musk was in the car washing industry, he'd be using LiDAR.
Well, Elon Musk made a decision to not use LiDAR in his self-driving cars, where my
Really?
Lucid has LiDAR,
Ah.
and that's actually been, the Waymo is using LiDAR to self-drive, which works better at night. It works better when it's raining. So
And it rains a lot in a car wash.
it rains a lot in a car wash. Yeah, there's a lot of water in a car wash space.
So LiDAR is the answer. We'll see more of that.
Yeah, but LiDAR is amazing. You get a full image of a picture. You can say, oh, that car has a roof rack. That car has a bike rack. That car just jumped a roller, because you see the roller go up. You can say, oh, that car is stopped while the conveyor is moving. So LiDAR is going to change the wash process, make it much safer, minimize damage claims. And it's something that Clean Trak has incorporated into its controller.
Good.
So,
Now, both of us being IT guys, somewhat, we mentioned like open source and APIs a little bit earlier. For the audience, let's kind of explain that. I know in equipment, some of the equipment manufacturers I've had, I could go down to Grainger and get replacement parts.
yeah.
And some I'd have to go straight back to the vendor and hope they had some in stock. Kind of open source and not open source. The POS systems in this industry, and this is natural, have grown up not open generally. It's a closed system. It does exactly what you needed. And it solved a lot of problems for us in the past, having these POS systems. I think you've built this company around an open source API kind of thing, both on whatever hardware pieces are needed and software. Can you explain more about why that's important and how that's done?
So the first thing is, let me talk about the software piece. You can go to cleantrak.com and you can see our API. And on our API, we have examples of how you can integrate. So Dave, you want to build your own application. You want your employee to take out their phone and issue a free wash and open a gate. We have our API. You can send us a command, open a gate, change the wash package, edit the wash package, delete a wash,
So you could hire your own
programmer
programmer and do this on a phone
You can hire
app
your own programmer, do anything you
and
want.
still connect it to your system.
Open a gate, send a wash, change a wash, all this very easily.
Could I have done that with POS systems of the past?
Not with Washify. As far as, I don't think there's any POS system that allows an easy, free integration to open gates and send washes.
And
really easily.
you're not charging the POS vendors of today. They still have a role in this.
Oh, POS still have a role. We're
Right.
not doing.
You need
we're not
a POS
doing,
system.
Oh, there are some, and there's some great POS systems out there. We're not taking payments. We're not doing marketing.
Right.
We're not running unlimited plans. That's all stuff that your POS.
So you still want a POS system to be part of car washes. They still have a great role.
Yes.
You just want to change the connectivity of how the controller and the wash is controlled and allow for other apps to be able to get in easily.
Yeah, and I want to allow for I mean, this industry has become so competitive, right? You need to differentiate yourself from your competitors. So Clean Trak is allowing that. Clean Trak is allowing you to add your own, keep your POS system, but enhance it with other companies that have really great systems on the market, or build your own app.
So you fit right in between the POS and the controller.
We fit with a controller plus the bridge that, right. So we're basically disrupting the current POS controller bridge by opening it up and allowing other sources. So you asked me a question about hardware too.
Yes.
So what I've done is created a business model that I've learned from the car wash industry, where keeping costs low and offering an unlimited monthly membership. So with Clean Trak, what we're doing is we're not selling equipment. So we partnered with a company called Moxa. We have a preferred partner, but you can buy the Moxa boards through many vendors throughout the country, and we don't charge anything up front for the software.
Right.
So
it's like going to Best Buy and picking up a cable real quick if you need something.
Exactly. You can buy it online. You can buy it from any Moxa distributor, and what you're going to end up with is a really much lower price controller, and also a really flexible controller. So the Moxa boards, if you want 8 serial ports, you can get one with 8 serial ports. If you want 64 inputs, you can get it. If you want 160 outputs. You can build your own controller, and we're not profiting at all from that up front.
And this is simple. You're not talking about hiring programmers and all that. You buy parts, you snap it together.
You buy cards, you snap it in place, and we're the software that's doing everything, but we're going to keep your upfront costs really low.
Right. So it's component-based. Any car wash owner can pull out the shelf and snap it in, and your software adjusts to it. It's simple.
It's simple, and they're readily available.
Not what we're used to in this industry.
You're not buying proprietary hardware. You're not locked into us for control of pricing, right? So you want to add 4 relays, it's $110 to add 4 relays.
Right.
It's cheap. It's easy.
So this is disruptive in approach on how you run your wash and manage your data and deal with your customer. So it's disruptive approach, but not disruptive where we're trying to knock out anybody else that has a role today.
Yeah, there's definitely...
Everybody gets to play together.
Everybody gets to play together, right.
So it's good.
It's good because you can keep your existing POS system and add to it.
You don't have to get that out and rebuild all that. You keep it, you just deal with it in a different way.
Exactly.
That's good. So if someone is entering the industry today, let's say they're new to the industry.
Right.
They may not have to even be new, but let's say they're new. Well, how would you tell them to invest in the tech?
Yeah, so Clean Trak is POS agnostic, right? So I would recommend finding a POS system that can do what we talked about, frictionless. If you want to build a car wash for an unlimited, easy unlimited. If you don't want the unlimited, then find a cheap pay station, whatever you're doing. But if you put us in the background, we're going to be ready for you in the future. Because we're at a time now where there's a lot of innovation very quickly and a lot of really cool changes in payments. I'll give you an example. I went to a Transact trade show, which is a credit card processing show last year, and a representative from MasterCard had expected, I think 2024, that 25% of credit card transactions are what's called MPOS, mobile POS. Not tap to pay, but MPOS. And what that means is the customer is downloading an app, tapping their phone and paying on a phone, but using their phone to pay. And our industry is nowhere near 25% on that.
No.
So what this allows is for you to increase that, for you to be able to meet the customer where how they want to pay. So if you're starting out, we're going to allow you to put the technology of the future into your system.
Right.
So
the way I do it today, I have to hit a kiosk, I have to tell it how I want to pay, I have to select the payment method, I have to find that device in the faceplate.
Yes.
It's pretty choppy.
It's pretty choppy.
It was cool at one time.
It was
and
cool.
It still works, and we need it. But it's not the future, right?
But you might need, if you're going to do business that way and you want to do 150, 200,000 cars, the current POS systems are like, okay, well, instead of 2 lanes, you need 3 lanes or 4 lanes, right? But that's not the solution. The solution is making, minimizing transaction time at the gate, which involves something else, not a kiosk, in addition to a kiosk.
As an owner myself, if I wasn't restricted on geographical space, would a system like yours allow you to have as many lanes as you want and expand it up and down?
Yeah, you can have as many lanes as you want, but ideally
you don't have to have a lot of wires in the ground and gates and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the gates are network-based. So, you put in 6 gates, you put Ethernet cable and power, and we can run all 6 gates. You want 2 gates, we'll run 2 gates. You want to go gateless, we can go gateless. There's no, you don't necessarily
on the fly.
need a gate.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yes.
That's a vision for the future.
I mean, when I opened, I didn't have pay stations. I added pay stations. This business model has changed so much over the 20 years, and it's going to keep changing.
So I'm getting a feel for your philosophy, how you want to work, how you deal with people. We mentioned employees before. There's a gentleman named Max that's your partner?
Yes.
Right? He wasn't always your partner, though. He worked underneath you at Washify.
He worked underneath me at Washify, yeah.
Now you're equal partners, right? Now you help him to build something new. What does that say about your approach to mentorship, collaboration, and just your philosophy in general?
Yeah, so I think I've always looked to work with people who are talented and can challenge, conventionality, where, what I love about Max is, like, why are we doing it that way? Well, everybody else is doing it that way. Well, can't we do it differently? Or why don't we do it this way? Or why don't we do it that way, right? Like, so, and I think I like to treat people well, especially who've changed my business, and they've treated me well over the years. So,
Good.
And I know you're the same way.
Yep.
I know you don't always have to be watching every transaction like you did
That's
20
right.
years ago, and making sure that
If you're going to be successful and scale your business, you have to have trust in your team and your people.
You have to have a good team.
There's no other way of doing it. So Adam, obviously you're a techie guy. I know you went to business school and started a business, but you built Washify. You did pretty well. You know about technology. I've been a CIO at many companies, so most people consider us, we have a technical background. Not everybody does,
Sure.
right? Especially in the car wash industry. So how do we do the elevator pitch kind of discussion to leave a message for people that aren't as techie as us, but
Sure.
want to know why you're doing something so different
So
and innovative that they need to pay attention to?
Sure. So I think the elevator pitch is we're going to do a few things. So we're changing the pricing model. We're going to have a system that's going to be a lot less expensive up front, and then in terms of hardware, it's going to be less expensive to maintain. We're using off-the-shelf components which are rated for 100-year, mean time between failures, which I hope is accurate. I don't know how they figured that out.
Yeah, it's like the 150-year flood. You never know, but
you
it
never
sounds
know.
good.
I won't be around in 100 years, but we'll see. So, but what we're doing is creating a new platform for you to be innovative and not to lock yourself into legacy technology. Right. We want to be able to create a solution around IoT and watching a vehicle, monitoring the vehicle, and then cleaning the vehicle to that specific vehicle, which is something that Clean Trak is able to do. And then using other technologies layered on that allow, connecting to your payment system, connecting to your sensors, your cameras, your
I would add a
devices.
big word in your elevator pitch,
Sure.
flexibility. Right, in many computer systems, not just in our industry, it's built, you get some configurability, some configuration that you can do, right? But you need to learn how to use it. The customer needs to learn how to use it,
Yes.
and it becomes your process.
Yes.
I think what you're proposing here is something that's much more flexible in the way you work with your customer, in the way all your other vendors, whether they're hardware or software, get to connect into you so that you can have a more positive relationship with your customer that is much more flexible at a cheaper price.
Yep.
An easier to maintain system.
Yes, exactly.
That's the way I would describe it. And I think that's totally different than what we have in the offering today.
Yes.
We have many vendors trying to give you more flexibility by hooking into
By
our
locking you
flexible
in,
systems.
right.
You're saying, let's make it easier for everybody to talk.
Yeah, let's keep an open system.
Right.
Let's see what happens in the future with innovation. There's already lots of innovation out there now, and not lock you into a specific way and basically dictate how you're going to run your business.
Right.
You
And
want
at the end
freedom
of
to
the day,
run
the
your
customer
business.
wins in this. You'll feel like you're winning
Yep.
because things are getting easier and your costs are going down. But the benefit is to the customer.
The benefit's the customer, right?
Yeah.
Being able to give them a better wash and meet them how they want to be met.
Now, you've built a couple businesses, the car wash being one, and you're still running a very successful high-volume car wash. You were one of the first in the area doing unlimiteds, so you were innovative. You then created and scaled and exited Washify.
Yep.
So there's a lot of experience there. What have you learned from those experiences that you're going to do different this time? Not just in the product.
Yeah. No, I think so. That's a good question. That's what I haven't thought of, right? So in terms of what I'm going to do differently is I certainly want to be in this long term, right? I had anticipated owning Washify longer, but I think that I didn't have a good.
We
answer.
can cut back to that. Think about it and we'll cut back to that.
Let me think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, how are we going to get your name out to the industry? You going to be at the trade shows?
Yeah, so
Are you
we
gonna
haven't
sell
committed
direct?
yet. We haven't committed yet to trade shows. My goal is to partner with other leaders in the industry, right? Whether they're panel companies and POS vendors and innovators that are apps, and have them sell our product for us. With Washify, I had a support team of 100 people. No, sorry, we had a team of over 100 people. We had 30 people in tech support. My goal with this company is you would purchase through one of our partners.
Right.
We would provide higher level tech support, but my goal is to keep costs down, is to always have a lean company. And
So most companies have a big engine behind the scenes that we don't all see.
right.
It gets complicated.
It gets complicated.
It gets slower to move.
And you're going to always need support, no matter who you
You don't want to
use.
be that way again.
I want to have, I would like to find a partner. I'm open to it, but
Right.
I would, having 100 people work for you is a lot.
It is, yeah.
And
It slows you down.
It does.
And
I
some
want to
have
be able
thousands.
to focus on innovation.
Some have
and-
thousands in our industry.
Some have thousands.
Right.
Yeah, we had. So ideally, we have a partner that provides tech support and sells for us. I don't have a sales team. We are currently partnered with a few companies you can find on our website, and purchase through them. They would configure it for you, and we'd focus on innovation.
And these could be anybody in a supply chain, I'm thinking potentially, whether the marketing vendors that are now hooking into the POS systems, it could be the POS vendors, it could be the equipment manufacturers, it could be the large consolidators that have big sales forces and big distribution units.
Yeah,
could
any
be
of those
any
could
Right.
be our partner, and they're all great partners, right? So whether they're equipment manufacturers, POS vendors,
So kind of to be determined,
it's to be determined.
but you're going to get Clean Trak in front of people soon.
We're going to get Clean Trak, yes.
It's gonna
So
happen.
It's going to happen. It's actually, you can already buy it online. Our partners have pricing already, but there are also going to be panel companies that you can buy a whole panel with our system
Yeah.
installed. So.
Good. All right, let's get a little techie again, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You're going to be a controller company, which means you have to connect, right?
Yes.
The main thing you're going to sell is that controller that's intelligent.
The main,
Would that be fair to
everything
say?
revolves around the controller.
The
So
controller.
you need a controller to wash cars.
Right.
You need a controller.
Yeah, everybody has one.
Everybody has one. I don't think anybody, if you're not using Clean Trak, has a modern controller that has a whole platform. So we're the only platform controller.
So now we've got everybody thinking the controller is going to be much more important, sophisticated than the thing just going on, off, on, off, on, off all day long.
Exactly.
Right? It's going to be much more. Can you walk us through what a smart controller is? We all have them today. I think of them as somebody sends a signal and bam, I hear the switch go on.
Sure.
The high voltage goes
So-
out. Something turns on. What's going to be different with your smart controller?
So during the wash process, the smart controller is going to look at the car. So specifically, it's going to say, okay, this is an SUV, this is a sedan, this is a pickup truck. Now, how do we tailor the wash process to that pickup truck?
As opposed to today,
It
it looks at the
vehicle.
point of sale and said, what do you buy?
It
Is
looks at the point and says, what do you buy?
buy?
And then it sends the car, and everything's done based on length and where the tire is. So now we know the exact,
Not the length of the car.
the length, well, it measures the length of the car with the photo eye, right?
Okay.
But it's treating your Porsche the same way it's treating the pickup truck,
That's right.
right? So the same real, if you buy wax,
It
it's
says
separate.
you bought package A, B, or C in your POS system. Turn these three
Exactly.
chemicals on, or these 5 on, or go slower, or go faster. That's about it.
That's it. So a smart controller.
Fundamentally, what you're going to do different with the smart controller.
Yeah, so the smart controller is going to see that vehicle and recognize your Corvette or recognize your pickup truck, for example, right? And the pickup truck is now going to turn down the blowers halfway on the pickup truck bed. It's going to slow down your conveyor on the back of the pickup truck or slow down the VFD that's running the wraps right around the back of the
Now,
pickup
slow
truck.
down sounds negative sometimes. Can it speed it up too?
It can, well, in terms of, well, it's up to the, I think there's going to be changes on
We
the
need
equipment
speed.
side too.
Right.
But yeah, it can slow down the actual wraps to do a better job. You're breaking mirror covers, let's speed up the wraps when we get to where the mirror is, right? So it's going to minimize damage. It's going to look at that vehicle and say, oh, we know that we break mirrors on this. Let's retract for that specific car, let's retract the wraps at where those mirrors are, right?
Yep.
But it's being able to, all your VFDs now are really cool. They can change speeds and adjust them, but you're not changing the speed based on the car. Now we're going to do that.
So your controller will know what the customer bought, will know a car has entered the tunnel, and then I'm guessing LiDAR takes over.
So LiDAR is
LiDAR,
going
someone
to be,
going to look at
yeah.
the car? and
LiDAR is
start-
going to be able to look at the car and say, okay, well, do a whole bunch of things, right? So LiDAR is going to say that car just jumped a roller. Let me send an extra roller, right? LiDAR is going to say, oh, that car is speeding too fast. Let me put on the horn in the tunnel so that car, the person knows, hey, I need to put on the brake. LiDAR is going to know, hey, that car stopped in the middle of the tunnel. I need to stop the tunnel. Controller, stop the tunnel because there might be a car behind it.
So those are exception processes.
Sure.
Does LiDAR do something to clean the car better?
LiDAR will clean the car better
As it enters the tunnel.
by knowing the type of car. So you have a pickup truck, it will change the speed of the wraps. You have an SUV, maybe there's a function that only turns on during an SUV, right? Maybe there's an additional high pH back foamer that only turns on for certain cars, right? Maybe there's a small...
How about the spoiler at the back of SUVs today? That's hard to get up under. Can you tell that it's there and do something different?
It can slow down the conveyor when it's in front of the wraps. You can create a specific high pressure device only for specific cars. So there's all kinds of things that we're not thinking of because all of the car wash equipment is geared to cleaning all cars. And all cars are not the same, as we know. So.
Now, you mentioned exceptions in the tunnel where your controller can do smart things.
Sure.
I think, is that related to, with LiDAR or AI-driven safety tools, will that add even more safety features or exceptions?
Yeah, so it will certainly add exceptions like, is there a piece of the bumper that's off? Is there a bike rack? Well, that's a safety issue because not only damage the bike rack, you could damage a wrap. The bike rack can come off and damage the car behind it. So there's all kinds of things that AI is remarkable, right? But let's look at a car and say,
so
hey, this car is different.
A loose bumper?
Potentially, depending on how much it sticks out, but certainly aftermarket accessories that are on the vehicles that are in...
Tow hitch?
Tow hitch, yes.
Those are things today we expect our employees to pick up on.
Yeah.
And you're saying AI with LiDAR.
Those toolies that people put on the top of the car, all that stuff there. You know, currently in the industry, you're relying on a person to hit a retract button. That person isn't always going to hit a retract button.
That's right.
Right.
So with AI, LiDAR, and a smart controller, we can get better in the tunnel with all these.
Yeah, we're going to minimize damage. We're going to make it a better experience. We're going to improve the wash process.
Okay. All right, so let's use all this wisdom I keep referring to in the past 20 years that you've developed, right? And let's ask you some big picture questions. What are the 2 or 3 predictions that you have for the car wash industry over the next 5 years?
Yeah, so I mean, everybody talks about consolidation, right? I think that's going to continue. But I think what's going to set everybody apart is how they can differentiate themselves in terms of the customer experience, both the payment process and then how clean the car is. So I think there's going to need to be a focus on that. I think that I think the unlimited program is going to get a lot more flexible, and specifically, someone who owned a bunch of gyms told me like 10 years ago, it's like, you were where we were 10 years before. And there are all kinds of non-unlimited loyalty programs, saving a license plate, saving a credit card tied to a license plate, having a, $20 a month and you get one wash free and the next one half off, all kinds of other programs that we're not thinking of. So I think the pay per use, pay per month, I think we're going to have other buckets of potential revenue.
Good. So thinking about the future, I know when I was a CIO, salesman used to ask me this question every time. What keeps you up at night? now, they just wanted me to say that so they can say that their product was going to solve that problem.
Yeah.
What keeps you up? Because you're an operator too.
I'm an operator. So
what should operators be worried about in the next 5 to 10 years in our industry?
So I have somebody who's opening a car wash across the street from me in a few months. And it's scary. I'm a single operator, right? I know there are people who have 100 locations. One location having a little bit of competition doesn't help them as much. I have 2 kids going to college in 10 years. How am I going to differentiate myself? And I think that is why I started Clean Trak. It's like, okay, well, this competitor is going to offer an unlimited, a pay per use model, but now I can have other tools, other loyalty programs, other phone apps that my competitor is not able to use because they're locked into a legacy POS system.
Right. So competition's going to heat up. There's going to be more
Competition's going to heat up. I am, you never know. We've been talking about cars that are harder to put into neutral, and we've seen that already. And that's really cutting down our throughput, right? Yep. You certainly have the Land Rovers and the Teslas where the owners can't put their cars in neutral. And one thing that we can do with LiDAR and with camera recognition is knowing the car that's coming in, right? So how do we explain to the customer, oh, this customer has a Land Rover, this is how you put the Land Rover in neutral.
Right. Maybe a screen can come right up with instructions.
Screen that comes up because we can recognize the vehicle. You can recognize it. You can take a picture of any vehicle and know the year, make and model of it.
So given consolidation and competitive anticipation here, you would say differentiation in market segmentation and the ability to have kind of online real-time market segmentation would be one way to differentiate yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't have summed it up better, but yes,
there you
continuously differentiate.
And that's what Clean Trak's all about.
That's what Clean Trak's all about.
All right, we're getting towards the end here. What excites you? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Yeah,
What's driving your ambition here?
I think what excites me is being able to offer something different to my customers that's unique, and for the customer to come in and say, wow, that's really cool. That's why I like going to Waves, which is my car wash, right? What I love about Clean Trak is being able to come up with an idea or talking to a customer and having them say, hey, how do we do this? And thinking, wow, that's a great idea. Let me implement it. So that's what I love. That's what I loved about Washify, was being able to build things quickly and then see them either at a customer's wash or my wash.
Is your very successful wash here in Massachusetts a test bed for your products?
It is. It is.
Is that primarily why you have it, or you enjoy washing?
I love washing cars.
Yeah.
I'm on my 20th year. It's definitely a test pit. It's something that I guess will frustrate some of my employees a little bit, but usually it works out well. But if I'm selling a product, I want to make sure that product works.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that I'm going to put it in my wash and have full faith to use it in my wash before anybody else is going to use it.
Excellent.
So.
Well, I've seen you come a long way.
Well, thank you so much,
I wish
Dave.
you luck on
Thank
another
you for your
good
time.
20 years and hope to see it be successful.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thanks for your time. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.